Sackline. What is a pronoun?
Pronoun is something that you use instead of the noun.
It is. This is a relative pronoun. So we've got this sentence. The child is playing in the street. How would you, what's that in German?
Das Kind spielt auf der Straße.
Very good. Very good. Auf der Straße. The child is eating an ice cream.
Das Kind isst ein Eis.
And now the child playing in the street is eating an ice cream. Huh. So that's what you get in English. But if you reframe it as this, the child that plays in the street is eating an ice cream, or the child who is playing in the street is eating an ice cream, is playing or plays, yeah?
Yeah.
Then that who word is taking the place of what? What's this take?
The child.
Yeah, it's taking the place of the child. What's the gender of the child?
Das Kind. So.
Neuter.
Neuter.
It's in the middle of the relative clause. So who's the subject? The child, we've introduced in the first clause. That's the subject of the eating of the ice cream. Is it also the subject of the playing in the street?
Yes.
Yeah. So in this, who's the subject? Yeah, the child. Therefore, what is the row in the first clause?
So das Kind.
What row?
1.
What row is the child in row two, in clause 2? Row what?
Row 1.
Yeah, 2 row.
Still row 1.
2 row 1s. Okay, therefore, das Kind. Something auf der Straße spielt ist ein Eis. What goes here?
So S.
Aha. Interesting. S. S is not a relative pronoun. S is a pronoun, a personal pronoun. What is the relative pronoun? Do you know? The relative pronoun is das. Das auf der Straße spielt. And we're going to mostly be using the der star grid. Remember der star? So that's what we're using. Therefore, there are 2 things to notice about this. Das is not das.
Yeah.
Das is taking the place of the child, das Kind. Use das when there is no previous noun to which you could possibly be referring. I did not know that the child was playing in the street. Ich habe nicht gewusst.
Das with double S.
Yeah, das with double S.
Then
what comes next?
Das.
Das
with
das.
1 S.
Das Kind auf der Straße gespielt hat. What would it be in the Präteritum? Just for fun while we're here.
Ich hatte nicht gewusst.
That's this. That's this. I just want to, that's the gewusst. That would be the past part.
Ich wusste nicht.
Ja, wusste. Wusste. Ich wusste nicht. Is it with umlaut? Ich wusste nicht, dass das Kind auf der Straße
spielte.
We should probably look it up. Maybe that's with an umlaut, huh? What do you think?
With umlaut.
Let's see.
I'll check. Sorry?
I just need to check. Oh yeah, well, we'll look it up in a minute whether it's with umlaut or not. That's not what we're doing anyway. This means that if we change the subject and its gender looks like this, playing the same role, the man who's working in the garden is eating a sandwich. This means that if we change the subject and its gender, so we're using a different subject, the man. Der Mann, something in the garden works, is eating a sandwich. What goes there?
Der Mann, der im Garten arbeitet.
Der im Garten arbeitet. The woman who is working in the school.
Die Frau, die in der Schule arbeitet.
In der Schule arbeitet. I hear a woman. I hear women who are singing in the room next door. Ich höre Frauen.
Die im Nebenzimmer singen.
Die im Nebenzimmer singen. That's right. What happens if it's different? It could be playing a different role in the second clause. Now, it stands to reason that the role a noun plays in the first clause may change in the relative clause. There's the woman, da ist die Frau, that we heard singing. What row is
Das ist die Frau, die wir singen gehört haben.
What row?
2.
Yes. Die wir singen gehört haben. That we gave a cup of tea to whom we gave. There's the woman to whom we gave a cup of tea.
Then row 3, so der ich eine Tasse Tee gemacht habe.
Yeah, you see how powerful this grid is, man? And we can check that we are right by transforming the relative clause into a primary clause. Wir singen gehört habe. We heard her, a woman singing. We heard her singing. So we had this, der wir singen gehört haben. And now we want to change that relative clause into a normal clause. We heard her singing.
Wir haben sie.
Row 3.
Ihre.
Not ihre, that's a possessive.
Yeah.
Ihr.
IHR. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Ihr singen gehört. I made her a cup of tea. Ich habe ihr. Yeah, that doesn't belong there. Well, we don't need that. Ich habe ihr.
Ich habe ihr.
No, you were right here, man. That was Z. Row 2. We heard her singing. Wir haben sie singen gehört. Actually, I don't know whether you said row 3. Anyway, it's row 2. We heard her singing. I made her a cup of tea. Ich habe ihr eine Tasse Tee gemacht. So in the relative clause, look, here you've got, there's row 1. Here's row 2. There's row 3. In this, I have row 1, but I have no row. I only have 2 things going on. We hearing her. So that's a direct object. This is an indirect object. So it turns out that we can use der star. It's almost exactly the same as what we've learned, which is cool, except 4-3. 4-3 is different. Oh yeah, well, we've got a few more to do. I have made you a present that's on the table. Go ahead.
Ich habe dir ein Geschenk gemacht. That is in the table. Das auf dem Tisch steht.
Das auf dem Tisch steht. Here's the present that you gave me last year.
Hier ist das Geschenk, das du mir letztes Jahr gegeben hast.
Yeah, that's row 2. That's row 1. This is row 2, but there's still das. They're both das because das is in row 1 and das is in row 2 in the der star grid. I'm looking for books that describe the U-Bahn.
Ich suche Bücher. I'm looking for books that describe the U-Bahn. Ich suche Bücher, die U-Bahn beschreiben.
That's right, die U-Bahn beschreiben. Here are the books that I bought for you. Here sind die Bücher.
die ich dir gekauft habe.
Yeah, that's the dog that we saw earlier.
Das ist der Hund, der wir vorher gesehen haben.
Are you sure?
That is the dog that we saw earlier. Yes.
Here, what's the subject of the first clause?
That. Okay. So yeah, das ist der Hund, den wir vorher gesehen haben.
How do you say that word?
Den.
Yeah, Dean, row 2. Here, there's row 1, huh?
Mhm.
Dog, we saw the dog. It's got to be row 2. That's the dog that you gave the bone to earlier. Das ist der Hund.
Dem du vorher den Knochen gegeben hast.
Dem du vorher den Knochen gegeben hast. Get it? Neat, eh?
Yeah.
Look, 4-3 is this, denen.
Okay.
And this is not totally unexpected, because remember this, in, im. Here, 1, 2, and 4, 3 are the same in der star, but not in personal pronouns. So
yeah, to who in a plural way.
Yeah, to whom plural. That's to whom plural. And this is also to whom plural. Where are the dogs to whom we gave the bones? Das sind die Hunde.
Denen wir die Knochen gegeben haben.
Denen wir die Knochen. Denen, say denen.
Denen?
Das sind die Hunde, denen wir die Knochen gegeben haben. To use denen, you must first introduce a plural noun. Here it is. There's the plural noun. And then you have to refer back to it. They got something. Here it's a indirect object. We, the bones, and they got them. They're the receiver of them. To whom? We gave the bones to whom? To the dogs. Our very famous example. Okay, what's this? Do you see the people over there for whom we baked a cake yesterday? Siehst du die Leute?
Siehst du die Leute da drüben?
People over there.
Denen wir den Kirchengästen gebracht haben.
Has to be dinner because we're doing dinner.
Yeah, that's no brainer.
That wasn't much of a hard one yet. That was kind of that was an easy ball to hit. But look, we've got us. There's row 1. Here's row 2. Here's the 3 things. They're the ones who got the cake.
Yeah.
I introduced a plural noun in the first clause. Yes, I did. The people. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you must introduce a plural noun and then refer back to the noun with a verb that takes a row 3 object. In this hospital, there are people that I can help. In diesem Krankenhaus, da gibt es Menschen.
Denen ich helfen kann.
Yeah. Because helfen takes a row 3 object. Denen ich helfen kann. In this group, there are people that I can follow. In dieser Gruppe da gibt es Menschen.
In dieser Gruppe, da gibt es Menschen. In this group, there are people that I can follow. Denen ich folgen kann.
Because folgen takes a row 3 object. In this group, there are people who I told yesterday.
In dieser Gruppe, da gibt es Menschen, denen ich gestern gesagt habe.
Yeah. Denen ich gestern gesagt habe. Cool, eh? Doing good.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. The trick to selecting the correct relative pronoun is identify the concept in the main sentence, the noun. Identify it's a noun. Huh? In the main sentence that the relative clause is going to add some information to. That's what a relative clause does. It adds some info. What's the gender? What's the thing doing in the relative clause? Is it the subject? Is it row 2 or is it row 3? Select the correct relative pronoun from the grid. Here's some exercises. I'll put them in the exercise file when I write the exercise file, which I'll do today. Okay, now look, here's the genitive in a relative clause. Remember, we did the genitive. I made you do the genitive, you know,
Yes.
before you could do this.
Right.
So this is der star, but for relative pronouns. So you had like der, den, dem, dessen, das, dem, dessen, die, der, deren, die, denen, deren. So now we've got denen, dessen, and deren, yeah? They're like three brothers. These are the idiot brothers of Denon. Darren, because it reminds me of Darren, that's why. Row 4 means whose, however, it's not a question. First introduce the noun, as we have already learned in clause 1. There's the man whose bicycle I borrowed. Da ist der Mann.
Dessen Fahrrad wir geleihen haben.
Yeah, but the choice of dessen or deren has nothing to do with the gender of the thing that's owned. It's not to do with the bike, it's to do with the person who owns it. So it's not the bike, it's the owner who controls the choice. There's the child whose bicycle I borrowed.
Da ist das Kind, dessen Fahrrad ich geleihen habe.
There's the woman whose bicycle I borrowed.
Deren Fahrrad ich geleihen habe. Dessen, sorry.
That's got to be Darren. This one?
Sorry, because he wrote da ist das Kind, so it should be da ist die Frau.
I'm confused. There's the child.
Next line.
This one?
Yes. So you wrote da ist das Kind. So that should be da ist die Frau.
Yeah, da ist die Frau.
Then it's deren, yes.
Deren. And this one there are the people whose bicycles we borrowed.
Da sind die Menschen, deren Fahrräder wir geleihen haben.
Which gives us these ones.
Das ist der Junge, dessen Katze vermissen ist.
Yeah.
Da sind die Leute, deren Bücher wir zurückgeben mussten.
Good.
Da ist die Frau, auf deren Hund ich aufpasse.
Yeah. Auf deren ich aufpasse. Where does the relative clause go? Goes directly after the noun it describes, or it goes as close to the noun it describes as possible. Look at this. I saw a woman that was running in the street, so it could be. Ich habe einen Hund, because there's a noun, der auf der Straße gerannt ist, gesehen. But that's a hell of a long way between haben and gesehen, isn't it? Better to do this. Ich habe einen Hund gesehen, der auf der Straße gerannt ist. Okay? And we keep the past perfect construction together in the same clause. Because it's more elegant, isn't it? Okay?
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah, that's all there is to relative clauses. I'll get the exercise file to you today, and we'll take it from there.
Great.